Hey everyone, I'm Dave Hunt, and welcome to my review of Minecraft Education Edition relative to the Community of Inquiry framework. This project is for the Drexel University School of Education and Learning Technologies. I'll explain a bit about the Community of Inquiry framework, and then we'll take a look at how Minecraft Education Edition works. I conducted a focus study with a student and parent teacher to understand how this could work in homeschooling. Finally, I'd like to share some thoughts on accessibility. I'm very interested in game-based learning. And since Minecraft is very popular in schools right now, I thought it would be interesting to see how this works in relation to the Community of Inquiry framework. Community of Inquiry is a concept very much based in constructivist learning theory, where the learning is supported by teaching presence, social presence, and cognitive presence. This idea has been around for a long time, and it describes how a group of people can interact for scientific inquiry in a way that's very conducive to learning. In the late 1990s, some researchers at the University of Alberta published their findings on how this works in remote learning situations. After that, it became very popular among educators, and it's especially relevant today with the recent boom in remote learning. First, I was curious to see how teachers are supported in Minecraft Education Edition. For getting started, there are some very nice online learning resources providing courses and learning paths on the Minecraft website. The introduction is an 11-hour course to introduce new teachers how to use Minecraft in the classroom. It starts with a very nice overview of how game-based learning works in comparison to gamification. These concepts are very different, and I'm glad they're giving a bit of time to discuss this up front.
Game-based learning refers to the use of games or game principles to affect positive learning outcomes.
Interestingly, these courses here on the website are gamified in that you earn a badge when you complete lessons. I'll admit, this added to my motivation to do the learning exercises. But it can get very complicated with gamification because extrinsic rewards like this can sometimes have the negative side effect of overriding the intrinsic rewards of learning. For this reason, I believe that gamification should only be used with extreme caution for education, and probably not at all with younger kids. Next, it shows teachers how to use the classroom management tools. Teachers can see where all of the students are on the Minecraft map and bring them back if they get too far away. You can also turn off distracting game modes like TNT. Overall, I think these tools look pretty great for enabling teachers to manage their classrooms. In order to create good teaching presence, teachers need to be able to set the climate. Is it free exploration time or creative building time, or time to focus on a particular lesson? The next thing I wanted to investigate is social presence. The community of inquiry describes that students need to project themselves into this community and be perceived as real people. Minecraft is a multiplayer game where you get to see other real people walking around inside the game, and it allows players to customize how their avatar looks. This is kind of nice, but I found it pretty limiting because you only get to choose from a pre-made set of options. Some students would want to make it look more specific. A good community of inquiry should allow for emotional expression, open communication, and group cohesion. I think the offerings here are very basic and would need to be accompanied by an in-person classroom or other sorts of online methods in order to really achieve good social presence for a classroom. For my research project here, I wanted to understand how well Minecraft works for homeschooling. So I conducted a short focus study with an 11-year-old student and his mom who works as a teacher for a homeschool. The student already had a lot of experience with Minecraft, but he had never tried the educational edition. So I gave them both an introduction, and then we played the Build with Bees lesson together. One of the big questions on my mind was about cognitive presence. I wondered how much learners are gaining from the content of the lesson versus just playing a game. Overall, I was pretty impressed at the students' level of engagement in the lesson content. He was very motivated to complete all the activities, and he got visibly excited when learning new interesting facts about bees. However, later when I asked if he learned anything new about bees from this game, his answer was no. This is where I think it needs support from teaching presence and social presence with other students to engage in discussion about what the game is teaching to help the learning become more meaningful to the student. I asked the student what he liked most about the game. He said he liked meeting the queen bee and the part where he got to ride on the back of the bee to go between flowers and collect pollen. These are very cool experiences because of how they cause the students to really empathize with the subject matter. However, the gamer in him was unsatisfied because he wasn't sure if he completed all of the objectives. He expected there to be more of a rewarding ending for finishing the game. When I asked what he would change about the game, he had a really cool suggestion that you should be able to ride on the back of the queen bee if you finish all of the lessons. Maybe you get to fly to a new location and start building a new beehive. I really like that suggestion, and it makes me realize that gamers will come to these lessons with a set of expectations about how it should behave based on other games they've played. And it will probably affect their engagement if the lessons don't have what they consider good game design. Next, I worked with the parent teacher. I gave her the printed handouts that are included with the lesson, and we talked about how she might want to use this for homeschool. She said it's really great how Minecraft lets students explore on their own. She said this would really help when introducing new concepts because of how it puts things into a context that's very familiar to many students, and they're in control of their own actions in the game. She said she would give students the handouts ahead of time so they know what to look for while playing. And then she could go and do a review when they have finished playing. She brought up a really good point that not all kids are as interested in Minecraft. Between different students, there may be a large gap in skill at Minecraft that the teacher would need to accommodate. On the one hand, you have expert players who are always trying to hack the game and try and do things the teacher doesn't even know how to do. On the other hand, some students wouldn't feel confident and may be reluctant to engage when comparing themselves to the advanced Minecraft players. The parent teacher felt this would be manageable in a small group, though it would most likely lead to chaos in a larger classroom. Another thing I feel is important here is the integration of external content like images and videos. Otherwise, all we get to see is the very blocky Minecraft graphics, which doesn't have the fidelity to get very accurate. The lessons often have links to YouTube videos and external content. However, I found this part to be very awkward in my player experience. When you click the link, it launches a separate browser window and immediately starts playing an advertisement on YouTube, along with all the other distractions, like suggested videos and public comments. The experience was even more awkward on the iPad during our focus study. It's also very annoying to be taken out of the player experience like this. I think it would be really important for the external content to be more seamlessly integrated into the game world for it to be effective for student learning. The assistive speech reader is a very nice aspect of Minecraft. All of the printed text in these lessons have a speech icon where you can click and hear the text being read. This is great for students who are still learning to read, so they can proceed with learning the subject that is being taught without being blocked by the skill of reading that they might still be developing. In conclusion, I can tell that there are a lot of really great things here to help students get excited about learning. It seems like it would work best in a blended learning environment, where traditional classroom activities accompany digital experience within Minecraft. There are many opportunities for teachers to set the climate and to create interesting social presence for students solving problems independently or in groups. And the cognitive presence would be enhanced by discussions with the teacher and other students, both before and after playing the game-based lessons. As for remote learning, I think there's still a lot more to be desired in the multiplayer experience, and it couldn't adequately replace in-person interactions. For that, there would need to be more customization for users and more depth to player interactions so that students and teachers could express themselves more thoroughly. I believe there's a lot of potential in this kind of game-based learning, so it'll be interesting to watch and see how these kind of experiences evolve over time. That's all for now. Thanks very much for watching.
So that's the way it is. Don't get in the way, don't get in trouble. But Dr. King and Rosa Parks inspired me to get in trouble, good trouble. And maybe, just maybe, this museum would inspire another generation of young people to get in trouble, good trouble, necessary trouble, to make our country and make our world a better place.